Alright, so, hello everybody, let's get started. I'm gonna be drawing some vampires today, I think. 10:37. Oh, okay. Okay, Mike, is your internet good? I should really be starting to work. I think my main monitor is a little bright, so when I want to start dark, I start a little bit too dark, and then I don't get bright enough, and I end up with this banding crap going on. Anyway, so I'm gonna draw some vampires. Alright, good night, Fenris. Good to see you. So I've been reading the Dresden Files. What kind of vampires? Reading the Dresden Files. So it's gonna be some Red Court vampires, I think, in the process of being unmasked. Shoe thief? Hello. Ooh, I don't know. If two left shoes and the shoe thief are gonna get along. What am I doing here? Alright, so I had an image in my head for this, and now I'm like, wow, how did it go again? I should do... Let me know if this is too dark, by the way. Because I can see it here, but on my other monitor, it's like 90% black. I was sure I had a good image of this in my head, but now maybe I don't. So now that I'm getting started with this, I feel like I should have reread the description in the book, because I remember, I have an idea in my head, but I think I may be mixing things up. Oh well, it'll be alright. Maybe it won't be quite canon, but... God, I need to do something more. Am I drinking Merlot? No, this is sangria, actually, that my wife made. It's quite lovely. Adiboo, hello. How's it going? Going very well, thank you. Well, except for this drawing that doesn't feel like it's working out at all so far. Maybe I should go the other way around. So then again, it's probably more interesting for some people to see a bit more like actual process instead of just getting it exactly right the first time and not really, because I feel like that everyone has times when what they're trying to do doesn't work out and they're like, "Ah," and how do you deal with it when that happens? And normally if that happens and I'm drawing on my own, I'll just be like, fuck it, I won't draw any today. But with everyone here streaming, I sort of have to keep going. So yeah, it's a good thing, probably. What is this guy doing? Oh, that's what I was gonna look at. Alright. I had it read. God, how am I gonna do this? Oh, jeez. Just a second. I'm looking for some reference that I remembered might be useful. Facebook does not make it easy to find things though, so I'm probably just not gonna worry about that. Nope. Alright, let's not worry about that. Let's just go. Control Alt Pixel, hello. Alright, let's see. Lifesavers with template lines. Yes, we'll see how that works. It does at least give me a bit of a flaw, so that should help a bit. What am I drawing? Doing some vampire creatures at the moment. And I'm... What is this guy doing? Can't just fucking be standing there. Boybantu, high five. Hello. I'm doing very well. Alright, there we go. Well, that's not helpful at all. What am I drawing with? Just Photoshop and a Wacom tablet. Nothing fancy. Okay, let's get into this. Yeah, so ask again, can you actually see anything? Because apparently the highest value I'm working with at the moment is about 16% black, or 16% light. Maybe I need to brighten things up a little bit. Because looking at my other monitor, it's basically pure black. Alright, so my other monitor is just crap, and it is basically just a TV, so it's not a surprise. Dad life. I should stream more. I'm trying to, at least once a week at the moment. I might do it again this weekend. I got a free weekend for the first time in quite a while. So that's always cool. So I'm trying to get some interesting lighting going on here. Some harsh creepiness. Am I doing anything for Overwatch? No. No Overwatch. It's the... I have not done anything for that. It's a little sad because it's awesome, but... It's alright, it means I just get to experience. Though I haven't actually played that much lately either. Andrew Gibbons, hey, from Melbourne, nice. Inspired you to go into an art career. That's awesome to hear. Hope it's going well for you. Save that. Still poor but not discouraged. Nice. Where are we? Oh yeah, just saving. I have a similar drafting process, but the end result is never acceptable. Doing line art in digital. Well, so I'm not, I'm certainly not doing this in order to get nice line work. If I was, I'd basically just leave this and then go over it a couple more times before starting to get into the rendering. I have some music going on. Is it not loud enough at the moment? Wait, give me a sec. Multitasking. Not a strong point. Okay. That's not the best way to do it. Here we go. Okay, let me know if the music's fine or whatever. Man, this guy really might just end up cutting this guy. That's cool. Make it work. Suppose it's not going to be amazing, but Yojimbe! How's it going, man? Still a little quiet? Alright, I can turn it up a bit. I don't want it to drown. The cats are in the other room at the moment. A, because they haven't been fed yet, and B, because my wife has a friend over and they're being noisy in there. So I've closed the door, and I figured that the cats would be happier out there with a little more space. Cut him and show him he came to the wrong neighborhood. Indeed. This guy is just standing there. What's he doing? What's going on? Oh, I'm more interested in this vampire anyway. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Attempting to draw two characters, yes. Might not be the best idea, but we will see how it goes. Mostly focused on this one on the left at the moment, but... It seems I have a very intuitive and reactive process in painting. Do I do that professionally, or do they want to see more sketches? It depends on what exactly it is that I'm working on, but this is a very much like I'd approach like getting a rough done. I wouldn't leap. Like, this sort of thing is pretty close to... I wouldn't make it so dramatically dark, because I don't get into lighting that early, but this is basically how I set up a rough for an illustration. And then I pass that off to someone for approval. But in some cases, if it's just a concept or something, I will just sort of work things out like this. A lot of the time, it really depends on how well I have something in my head to begin with, as to how, like, freeform it is. Like, this is very much, sort of going with the flow and trying to really work it out on the fly. Which is, I guess, what I do a lot of the time, but there's been a lot more, like, back and forth here where I'm trying to work out what the hell's going on. Whereas with something that I was a little bit more confident about to begin with, I'd probably be less... I'd get to something more... not finished, but more readable earlier. But yeah, this is a very similar approach to what I do professionally. every time. I blind myself. So that a lot of the time I'll end up working on the wrong layer. So that's just a quick separate layer by cut and then merge down just so it stays. So I can keep things working on the right layer. I still mess up layers. Yeah, it happens quite a bit, honestly. Just get used to like cutting and moving around quite a lot. It may be a little bit like that. This is one of the specific things I remember from the description. This is having someone casting a shadow over their eyes and then trying to draw the eyes in darkness is something of a challenge. Yeah, so the description of it, for those who have not read the book, is the vampires are basically, they sort of take on human form, hence like this guy over here. But if they get sunlight on them or whatever stuff that is bad, fire, whatever, if you see through them, then they're basically like super creepy, rubbery, like weird, shiny bat creatures. Yes, sunlight sees through there. Well, actually, so You know, I think sunlight will, like, it is a traditional thing. They will, if they're in it for too long, they will basically die. But it initially unmasks them. But yes, I guess that's all a matter of perspective, right? Yeah, it is. It is rather similar to the Alien as far as like getting the highlights. It's a, I guess it's a similar type thing, right? It's a very dark creature in a dark environment that's lit by a very harsh, by quite a harsh highlight. So, and it's sort of like shiny. So, I guess I am retreading some ground here. But I do sort of want to do some other things from the Dresden Files, maybe get, I don't know, there's something very specific. I always imagine, so I read a fair amount. I've been with the Dresden Files lately, and I've been also reading, finally, for the first time, I've been getting through the Discworld series. Which is obviously amazing. But just like imagine reading Control-Alt-Pixel, good night. Good to have you. Hope you can make it next time, maybe. Though it'll probably be bedtime next time, because this is the standard time that it is. But yeah, it all goes up on YouTube. Anyway, yeah, so I read in a very, like, I'm imagining basically a sort of animated series as I go. And it's a shame that animated series take so much effort to make, because that'd be pretty amazing. I'm really enjoying the books, but there's like 40 books or something, so it's sort of expensive to get through. But yeah, I love them. Goodbye for real. R.I.P. indeed. Yeah, it is a shame. But so I sort of have this like in my mind, because I know I actually remember long before I ever read the books, only 15 books. No, there are more than that. Or are you talking about Dresden Files? There are definitely more, because I'm in like book 18, I'm pretty sure now. There might not be 40, but there are definitely a lot of books. Anyway, that's beside the point. Because I do remember seeing they had there was a Discworld cartoon when I was growing up that I remember watching. That was, I thought it was fine when I was a kid, but yes, Dresden, yeah. So there will be more of those though, so that is good. Which book should you start from? There is technically, I'm just reading them in the order that they were written. This is Discworld. And that seems to have been working for me. I've looked up like a timeline of it, and it's pretty close to that. I think the books are not worse. Like, the old books are not worse, but I think, there have been so many that I don't really remember, like, which ones were especially better than others, but I reckon you should read them all, because the first one obviously sets up the world. The first few set up the world more effectively than later. They sort of, as they go on, there's more assumptions made about what you know. Anyway. But yeah, so, like, I have dreams of an animated series, and Dresden sort of fits it a little better, because it's a little more, I guess, violent and dramatic, but it's almost like some sort of combination between like a regular sort of intense anime, but more animated, almost like the Dam Keeper or something like that, where it's got like, there's a super stylized. I was thinking about it specifically for Discworld, because one of the big things about, and I'm not even sure it's physically possible. Have I played the Discworld game? No, I have not. Is it a computer game, board game? I haven't at all. But one of the things about the Discworld universe is on the world, light moves. It doesn't move at the speed of light. It moves more slowly, and it's only really played up occasionally when he's talking about the sun rising and the light sort of dawn breaking across like the landscape. And I'm not even sure if it'd be physically possible. I feel like it would be really nice to, I don't know, get something like that going on and play off that. Just have it a little bit more like a silly thing, but then mix in like, because it's definitely like somewhat violent and whatever, so you could go with that. Anyway, I've been reading, so that's what my imagination does when I read. So at the very least, I can do some drawing. What time is it? 8:22. So I've been streaming for almost an hour. I guess I'll take a break shortly. I've not yet read Good Omens. I've been meaning to. I really should, since I love Neil Gaiman as well. That's on the list. I'm rereading the Dresden Files partly because I don't want to spend a lot more money on new books. But I guess they're probably all in the library at work, so that would be handy. A lot of keyboard pressing. I have very few macros. It's mostly swapping between the brush and the rotate tool and undoing and or changing the size of my brush. Because I hit Alt a lot. So it's a lot of brush changing size and color picking. I can try not to rotate so much if it's actually bothering you guys. Actually, funny thing, this IMX album is basically like in my head completely connected to the Dresden Files. It's like because it came out when I was first when I first picked them up, and we were on vacation. So basically, I was like listening to this on repeat. And I read like the first 4 books of the Dresden Files with this album just playing. You sync equal and let you rotate. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I definitely find it funny how music can sometimes do that though. Like when I very first moved to the US, I had just gotten, I think one of Porcupine Tree's, I don't know if they've released anything since though. So then, what's it called? The Incident, I think. And then I was reading, like the first weekend I moved here, I went over to a Barnes & Noble and picked up Watchmen and a collected story of Lovecraft. A collected volume of Lovecraft stories. And so every time I hear basically any track from that album, I have this sort of weird imagination of either some of Watchmen or mostly like New England and Lovecraft. Alright, we've been going about an hour, so I'm going to take a quick break, refill my drink. I will be back shortly. See you guys in a minute.